Everybody, it's Evan Sanders with the BetterManProject.tv. This is episode number 4 called Heart. For many reasons I'm going to get into. I've been trying to figure out, how I wanted to do these videos with the amount of time. I used to call it Inspire in 5, but obviously today is going to be a little bit different because I got an awesome email from one of the fan followers and decided to address this because it was pretty cool. So I'm going to go ahead and read this email for the sake of the email and her confidentiality. I'm just going to call her, Marissa. So we can go from here. Hi, Evan. I found you on WordPress. I'm a 29-year-old woman currently 5 months into a medical diagnostic process. I'd drop out of school, quit my athletic hobbies, move back in with my mom, and now I couldn't quite walk for a quarter mile without collapsing. No one knew what was going on. I was told I was crazy for 3 months and found a new doctor. We found a few significant problems and are getting closer. I don't know what's wrong, if they ever find it, or if I'll ever be an athlete again. A video blog related to fear, loss, uncertainty, and waiting around would be cool, or chronic illness if you feel like you can speak on that. Since you're a big quote guy, I am an old man and have known many great troubles, but most of them never happened. Mark Twain. Makes me laugh because I fully sobbed for a week and accepted that I had multiple sclerosis based on my symptoms at the time, and I don't. If you're interested in reading my story, it's on moxygen.wordpress.com. Click the link, start from the beginning. Thanks for your great work. Great project, Marissa. So, Marissa, first of all, I don't have any chronic illnesses, but I do have one hell of a story that I can tell you related to fear, loss, and I've got a ton of notes here that I wrote down. Because immediately your story, it touched me, and I want to kind of dive into this. So, fear, loss, and uncertainty. Wow, I think kind of everyone deals with that pretty much on a daily basis. Fear of losing loved ones, and there's about 5 other ones. Fear of poverty, fear of being judged, things like that. These are the 6 most crippling kind of things that people get involved in, and it can really take you out. And so what I've got here is, I talked the other day about living in the present, which a lot of this fear is fear of the past or fear of the future of what might happen. I'll kind of get into that a little bit, but the story that I have to tell you right off the bat is about a couple of years ago. I went through an awful breakup. And I think it was about a month later, I started having these really weird heart problems. And it was heart palpitations. And basically what was happening was there was an added heartbeat to every single kind of heartbeat that I had. So instead of going boom, 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 it was going boom, 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 which is crazy and sounds a little bit ridiculous. But what ends up happening with your heart is that it ends up resetting itself every single time, and it kind of knocks the wind out of you. And it started off, progressively how things were, once in a while, but then it started getting worse and worse and worse. To almost every single heartbeat, there was a palpitation, and I gotta tell you, this was freaking me out, which in turn I learned at the end doesn't really help the palpitations at all. Anxiety. So I'm going through this, the turmoil of post-breakups, and I've got these heart palpitations, and it's finals week in 2 weeks, or it might have been a week. So all this added stress is just not making things better, and I'm wondering, I have a heart problem, even the worst things, am I going to die, all this stuff, so I can feel your pain on this one. So what ended up happening is there was a couple of times at night where I was really having these bad palpitations, and I had to go home. They took me to the hospital once, trying to figure out what was going on. My EKG was just going nuts, and they told me to go home and do nothing and rest. They gave me these just awful heart medication drugs, which just would wipe me out. So I'm sitting in bed at home, not at school, not studying, not working out, which is what I do every single day, and struggling. I'm struggling because all I can do is sit in bed and think. which is definitely not something that I want to be doing. I want to keep myself busy and active. And then also, I'm focusing by laying down. I'm just focusing on every single time there's a palpitation. Oh my God, what could it be? What could it be? And the drugs are making me feel sick, and I'm sleeping most of the day. And it's this absolute disaster. So here's kind of where things get interesting. I get this awesome doctor, and the doctor, a couple of times I see him, he's, giving me different types of drugs. It doesn't work. I go back to him and say, Doc, come on, this is ridiculous. This needs to be fixed. I'm an athlete, right? I need to do this stuff. It's part of who I am. You got to get me back to where I need to be, okay? So what ends up happening, and I realize that there are some incredibly interesting shadows on this right now, but we're just going to deal with that. What ends up happening is that my doctor tells me that, let me close this blind really quickly. My doctor ends up telling me that what they're going to do is they're going to go a stress test. And the stress test is they basically hook up all these cords to my body. They're going to run me on the treadmill as hard as I can for 20 minutes straight until I reach my max heartbeat. I'm going, this is the worst idea ever. This guy's nuts. He's out of his mind. And then I'm looking at the clothing I'm wearing, and I go, like, sweatpants? This is dumb. I can't do it today. I can't do it. And what if I die on the treadmill? Is this the way that I wanted to go? Not exactly. So I get on this, I just say, you know what? I had a little moment where I just went, just go for it, and who cares? So I get into this room with the treadmill. The nurse looks at me, and she goes, not exactly running wear, huh? And I said, nope. And I kind of just had this moment where we were just kind of like laughing. I was like, I'm going to run in my boxers, and it's just the way that it's going to be. I'm going to make myself the most comfortable possible. So the nurse said, like, I won't tell anybody. So she hooked me up to all of these things, and get on the treadmill. I'm running barefoot, by the way. Get on the treadmill, and every single 2 minutes it starts going up and up and up and higher in speed, and I'm dying on this thing, running barefoot, hooked up to every single cord in the damn office. And they got my heartbeat all the way up, and I'm just sweating to death. So first, I couldn't work out for more than 5 minutes. I feel your pain with going on walks and feeling like you wanted to collapse. Best friend came by one day. We couldn't go for a walk because I was so tired. And got on this machine, and they just completely ran me into the ground. All right, so the doctor comes back in, and he said, that should have fixed it. And I, what? And he goes, yeah, it's kind of like an Italian test drive. Because they say, if your car is not running well, drive it as hard as possible to see if it figures itself out. And so what ended up happening is if you run yourself and you get that heart pumping as fast as it can, for whatever reason, that palpitation can completely reset itself, and the whole brain of the heart basically just goes back to normal. It's kind of like a reboot for your heart, and sure as hell, gone, completely gone. And my fear of dying, my fear of not being able to do everything that I wanted to do was completely gone too. And all it took was something that I never thought was going to be possible. I thought I was going to be sitting in bed for more weeks and not being able to work out, and that old man with a cane kind of thing. And sure as hell, I'm here, I'm working out, and I'm doing great. And this was 2 years ago, and once in a while I'll have a little palpitation, but it's actually more of just a reminder of everything that I've been through rather than anything else. So what I'm kind of talking about is facing that fear. And I'm not a doctor, but I can speak kind of from what I've been through, which is you just got to keep grinding away. And the thing is too is that I know for me mentally, I was making it way worse in my head than it was actually, when the situation actually was. And maybe in your case that's the deal. Maybe it's not at all. Maybe there's something is actually wrong. But things change all the time, and there's ups and there's downs, and there's darkness and there's light, and things are always going to change for you. And it's not really about wishing that things went back to the way that they were, because they'll never be that, they'll never happen that way, and you can never go back to that place. But it's really about just accepting your situation for what you are at right now and trying to make the best of it, and then, working in that present moment to really kind of kick some ass. And it's really kind of like the best piece of advice that I can give here. Because there might be a physical illness, and the thing is you're probably going to get it figured out. And then, there's plenty of stories too about people who have overcome significant odds to get back into great health. It really does start with mental kind of health. And I think the body can heal itself in ways that probably we can't understand. And that's what kind of happened for me. So, being able to do what I wanted to do, being able to get back out there and really kind of occupy myself and set goals and really go after them, that gave me like kind of new life. And I think this whole topic of fear and, loss and uncertainty, that's good though. It's good for us. I've talked to a couple other friends with this past week, which is they're talking about how things are kind of bad right now. And I'm saying that's good. This is a good thing. You want that to be that way, because there's this great quote, like, life is like an arrow. It pulls you back, and as soon as you get pulled back as hard as you can, it launches you forward way past from where you were originally. So, Mara, I can only say that I want to really kind of encourage you to keep that spirits up. If you have any more questions, please shoot over a message to me. We can talk more about it. But thank you a lot, really, for sending me that message, first of all, and I really kind of encourage everyone to jump over to the Facebook page and send me a message. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear, what you think about the video blogs in general. If they're good, if they're bad, I'm going to keep up with the writing too. But it's awesome because all these stories that I've been getting really make me kind of think about what's going on in my life and what I can be doing. So, thebettermanprojects.wordpress.com, or head over to the Facebook page. You can find it on there under the Better Man Project and Churchill Visions. And fire away. I'm ready for you guys. So thanks a ton. I appreciate it. Our best of luck to you. And hopefully this gets better soon. I believe it will. So yeah, thank you guys. I'll talk to you soon.